Imagine waking up one morning to the news that your partner has passed away. The world around you shatters, and in the midst of your grief, you start to realize something even more unsettling. Your life is about to change in ways you never anticipated. The emotional pain is overwhelming, but there's more to the story than just the loss itself. You might be unprepared for the real, often shocking consequences that follow the death of a partner. When we think about losing a spouse or long-term partner, we often focus on the emotional side, the loneliness, the sadness, the ache in our hearts. But there are practical, financial, and even social consequences that can catch you off guard. The aftermath of losing someone you love isn't just about mourning, it's about handling the fallout of decisions you might never have considered. From managing finances alone to facing unexpected legal challenges, there are countless obstacles that can arise after a partner's death. But what if you had the knowledge to navigate these situations? In this video, we'll explore 5 shocking consequences that could affect your life if your partner dies before you. Stay tuned, because some of these might surprise you. Losing a partner is one of the most difficult things anyone can go through, but the reality is that the consequences of this loss go far beyond grief. From financial burdens to legal challenges, there are several unexpected and shocking consequences that could leave you scrambling for solutions. In today's video, we're going to uncover 5 of the most surprising outcomes you must be prepared for if your partner dies before you. Let's dive in. When we lose a partner, we often think of the emotional devastation that follows, the loneliness, the void, and the grief that feels impossible to overcome. But as the days pass, something else begins to settle in, the practical realities of life without them. You may have thought about handling the emotional aspects, but have you prepared for the legal, financial, and social consequences that could leave you feeling overwhelmed? Let's break down 5 shocking consequences of losing your partner and how you can prepare for each one. 1. Financial strain. The silent consequence. One of the most immediate and shocking consequences you might face is financial strain. While you may be emotionally devastated, the bills don't stop coming, and the lifestyle you've grown accustomed to could suddenly feel unattainable. Without your partner's income, you may find it difficult to maintain the standard of living you once enjoyed. This could include loss of household income. If your partner was the primary breadwinner, their death could leave you struggling to make ends meet. Even if both of you contributed to the household finances, you might now find yourself with a significant income gap. Insurance policies and pensions. Many people assume their spouse's life insurance or pension will cover their loss, but the process of accessing these funds can be complex, especially if the policy isn't set up correctly or you don't know where to look. For example, life insurance policies often have clauses that might delay payout or reduce the amount you're entitled to. The hidden costs of death. Beyond the funeral expenses, there are a multitude of smaller financial burdens that can add up quickly. These can include dealing with probate, paying off debts your partner left behind, and even managing the cost of settling their estate. A woman named Emily went through this reality after her husband suddenly passed away. She had always relied on his steady income, but his unexpected death left her grappling with not only the emotional pain, but also the financial devastation. She had no idea how to handle the mortgage, the credit card bills, and the looming funeral costs. Emily wasn't aware that her husband's life insurance policy had lapsed, leaving her with nothing. This meant Emily had to downsize her home and make major life changes in the wake of her grief. 2. Legal and estate issues. What you don't know can hurt you. The death of a spouse or long-term partner often brings legal issues to the forefront, and many of these can be both shocking and difficult to navigate. Estate planning, wills, and the transfer of assets can get complicated quickly, especially if your partner passed away without leaving clear instructions. Probate delays. If your partner didn't leave a will or estate plan, you could be left in limbo for months or even years, while the court processes their estate. During this time, you may not have access to their assets or savings, putting you at risk of running out of money. Inheritance disputes. If your partner didn't update their will or didn't have one in place, family members, such as children from previous marriages or estranged relatives, could challenge the estate. This often leads to lengthy legal battles that drain resources and add unnecessary stress to an already difficult time. Take the case of Mark, who lost his wife unexpectedly. They had no children, but his wife's estranged family members fought for a portion of her estate, even though they had not been in touch for years. Mark was forced to endure months of legal challenges and delays before finally being able to access his wife's assets, all while grieving her loss. 3. Emotional fallout and loneliness. The hidden struggle. The emotional toll of losing a partner is immense, but many people don't realize the loneliness that can follow. It's not just about missing their presence, it's about the social and emotional void that can be left behind. Social isolation. After the death of a partner, people often find themselves isolated from friends and family. Your social circle may shrink, as friends and family might not know how to handle your grief. Additionally, people in couples often find themselves in awkward social situations, especially when it comes to events like family gatherings or social outings. Loss of shared responsibilities. If you shared responsibilities with your partner, from childcare to household duties, the loss can leave you feeling overwhelmed and emotionally drained. For instance, many people suddenly have to juggle the responsibilities of raising children on their own, dealing with home maintenance, or managing finances without their partner's help. Sarah, a mother of 2, found herself not only grieving her husband's death, but also struggling with loneliness and emotional exhaustion. As she navigated life without her partner, she discovered that the loneliness extended beyond missing him. It was about not having someone to share her daily experiences with, and feeling disconnected from the world around her. 4. A shift in identity. The loss of we. After spending years, or even decades, as part of a couple, losing your partner can leave you with a sense of lost identity. For many, it's hard to know who you are without the we that used to define your relationship. Loss of shared goals and dreams. For couples who shared a vision for the future, such as retirement plans, travel aspirations, or even just family milestones, the loss of a partner can leave these dreams shattered. The future you planned together now feels uncertain and full of emptiness. Rediscovering yourself. You may find yourself questioning your worth, your place in the world, and what comes next. People often experience a period of self-doubt and confusion as they navigate this new chapter in life without their partner by their side. An example of this is Tom, who had been married to his wife for 25 years. They had always talked about retiring to the coast and spending their golden years traveling together. But after his wife passed away suddenly, Tom had to confront a future he never planned for. His sense of self and purpose, which had always been tied to his wife, was now lost, and he had to find a way to rebuild his identity on his own. 5. The struggle with future relationships. Finding love again. One of the most challenging aspects of losing a partner is the struggle to imagine life with someone else. While it's common for people to eventually seek new relationships, doing so after the death of a partner can bring its own unique set of challenges. Fear of comparison. You might constantly compare potential new partners to the one you lost, which can prevent you from fully engaging in a new relationship. It's difficult to open your heart again when it still feels like your old partner's memory is everywhere. The challenge of moving on. While some people may quickly find comfort in new relationships, others may find it emotionally difficult to move forward. This is especially true if you feel guilty or disloyal for even considering another person, despite the fact that your partner has passed. Julia, for example, struggled to date again after her husband passed away unexpectedly. Every time she went out with someone new, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was betraying her late husband's memory. This inner conflict made it difficult for her to pursue any future relationships, even though she felt lonely and wanted companionship. These are just a few of the shocking consequences you must be prepared for if your partner dies before you. The impact goes far beyond the initial grief, affecting every part of your life from finances to identity and even your future relationships. But there's one more thing you need to know that could completely change the way you view these challenges. Now that you have a clearer understanding of the potential consequences that can follow the loss of your partner, there's one more thing you need to consider: the unexpected twist that many people never see coming. It's something so fundamental, yet so easy to overlook when you're deep in the emotional whirlwind of grief. If you're not prepared for this final shock, it can leave you feeling more isolated and helpless than ever before. This part of the aftermath is often the hardest to navigate, and it's something most people aren't taught to anticipate. In the next section, we're going to reveal the final consequence, the one that truly takes people by surprise, even when they think they've seen it all. Stick with us, because this is something that could change the way you think about your future and your preparedness. As we've explored so far, losing a partner brings a wave of overwhelming emotions, financial strain, and legal challenges. But the hardest consequence is often the one that directly affects your emotional resilience, and it's not something most people prepare for. This is the part that often remains hidden beneath the surface, a side effect of loss that catches even the most prepared individuals off guard. 6. The mental health fallout. When grief turns into something more. While the emotional toll of losing a partner is widely acknowledged, the mental health consequences of such a loss can be far more severe and long-lasting than most anticipate. Grief is a natural response, but when it becomes chronic, or compounded by anxiety, depression, and even post-traumatic stress, it can drastically affect your ability to cope with life moving forward. Complicated grief. In some cases, grief can become prolonged and complex. Individuals experiencing complicated grief might find themselves stuck in an endless cycle of mourning, unable to accept the loss or move forward. This could make it nearly impossible to find joy in anything, as every moment feels overshadowed by the absence of your partner. Depression and anxiety. For many, the death of a partner brings up feelings of isolation, loneliness, and hopelessness. Studies have shown that those who lose a spouse are more likely to experience depression and anxiety. They may feel overwhelmed by the uncertainty of their future and face immense difficulty finding peace or closure. This emotional struggle can also affect your physical health. Sleeplessness, weight changes, and fatigue are common among those grieving. The risk of PTSD, if the death was sudden or traumatic, such as in the case of an accident, illness, or violence, the emotional toll could escalate into something even more severe. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is not uncommon for those left behind after a partner's unexpected death. The feeling of being emotionally shattered can linger far longer than anticipated. Let's look at the story of Brian, whose wife tragically died in a car accident. What began as an emotional shock soon escalated into severe anxiety and insomnia. For months, Brian couldn't sleep, constantly replaying the accident in his mind. He began experiencing panic attacks whenever he went out, and his sense of safety and peace evaporated. Despite seeking therapy, it took him years to get close to any sort of mental stability. Brian's story is a stark reminder of how powerful and unrelenting grief can be when it transforms into deeper psychological issues. The mental health fallout from the loss of a partner is not something to be taken lightly. Even with the support of friends and family, the emotional and psychological scars can last a lifetime. What makes it even more difficult is that grief is not a linear process. Some days you may feel okay, only to be hit with waves of sorrow and hopelessness out of nowhere. The unexpected nature of these emotional swings can feel as though you're walking through a fog, unsure of when the next storm will arrive. 7. The social impact. Shifting friendships and social dynamics. Another surprising consequence of losing a partner is the social shift that occurs. When you're part of a couple, your social circle often revolves around both of you. Shared friends, family connections, and even work colleagues are accustomed to seeing you as a team. But when that team is no longer intact, you might feel the weight of an isolating shift. Loss of mutual friends. While some friends will rally around you after the death of a partner, others may not know how to react. You may find that some of your closest friends drift away, unsure of how to support you, or even uncomfortable with your grief. This can lead to feelings of social isolation, as the people you thought you could count on may no longer be there for you in the same way. Changes in family dynamics. Losing a partner doesn't only impact your own life, it can also alter family relationships. Parents, siblings, and children might react in unexpected ways, and the role of your partner within the family might need to be filled in some way. For instance, if your partner was close with your children, they may struggle to process the loss, or other family members might step in to help with childcare or financial responsibilities. The challenge of dating again. As we mentioned earlier, finding love after losing a partner can feel impossible. But beyond the personal struggle, you may also face societal judgments or awkward interactions. Friends and family may subtly question whether it's too soon to date again, or they might hold on to the memory of your partner, making it hard to move forward in a new relationship. Sarah's experience highlights these social impacts. After her husband passed away, she found herself excluded from social events. Friends who once welcomed both of them now invited her alone, often giving her pitying looks or awkwardly changing the subject when her late husband's name came up. Even her family didn't know how to act around her anymore, and Sarah felt more alone than ever, despite being surrounded by people. The social isolation that followed her loss was one of the most unexpected consequences of her grief. 8. A loss of routine and stability. When your world turns upside down. One of the lesser discussed aspects of losing a partner is the profound disruption to your daily routine. Life as you knew it is no longer predictable, and even the smallest parts of your daily schedule can feel disorienting without the presence of your partner. The collapse of routines. Whether it was having coffee together in the morning or watching a favorite TV show at night, your partner was part of the rituals that structured your day. Suddenly, those simple moments are gone, and you might struggle to find meaning in the same activities. This can create a sense of imbalance and a lack of stability, which, in turn, can make it harder to move forward with your life. Changes in household dynamics. If you shared responsibilities with your partner, whether it was cooking, cleaning, or childcare, you may find yourself overwhelmed by the sudden need to manage everything on your own. It can feel like your whole life has been uprooted, leaving you to face an uncertain future without the stability you once had. Take the example of John, who lost his wife after a long battle with illness. John had been her caregiver during her final years, and he had dedicated himself to making sure she was comfortable. But after her death, he found himself at a loss. He no longer had the daily task of caring for her, but he also didn't know what to do with his time. His whole routine, once centered around her needs, had come to an abrupt halt, and the silence in his home felt deafening. As we've seen, the consequences of losing a partner are far-reaching and often go beyond what people expect. The emotional and mental impact can be devastating, and the changes in your personal and social life can feel overwhelming. But as we delve into the next section, we'll uncover a surprising twist to all of this, a revelation that could change how you approach these challenges. Now that we've covered the unexpected consequences of losing a partner, there's one aspect that often gets overlooked: the possibility of rediscovery. While it might seem like everything is falling apart, there's actually an opportunity to rebuild and reshape your life in ways that might surprise you. It's easy to feel trapped in grief, but there's a powerful, life-changing truth. Loss can open the door to a new chapter. By embracing the challenge of moving forward, you may discover strength and resilience you never knew you had, and in the process, you might even find a deeper sense of self than you ever thought possible. But what does this actually look like in real life? How can you begin to move forward when it feels like your world is falling apart? The next section will reveal just how powerful this rediscovery can be. Keep watching, because this might change your perspective on life after loss. Now that we've explored the struggles and shocks that come with the death of a partner, you may be wondering, is there hope for rebuilding your life after such a devastating loss? The answer may surprise you. While grief and loss often leave us feeling vulnerable, broken, and uncertain about our future, there's a hidden truth many people fail to recognize. What if I told you that some of the most powerful, transformative moments in your life could arise from the deepest grief? Imagine being able to look at the pain of losing your partner not as an insurmountable obstacle, but as an opportunity to evolve, grow, and discover a new sense of purpose. It may seem difficult to even fathom this during the darkest days of your grief, but there are real-life examples of people who have gone on to live full, rich, and meaningful lives, despite the pain of loss. As we journey through this next part of the video, you'll learn how individuals who once felt completely lost and devastated have managed to not only survive but thrive in ways they never expected. What's even more surprising is that some of these individuals discovered new paths and passions that they could never have imagined while they were still in their relationship. This is the part where we shift the narrative from grief to growth. And trust me, by the end of this section, you'll understand why this is possible and perhaps even necessary for you too. Stay with us as we uncover the secrets to turning loss into something unexpectedly powerful. Just when you think you've understood the worst of what could happen after the death of a partner, here's the unexpected twist. Grief doesn't only change your life, it can actually become the catalyst for personal transformation. While the journey through loss is undeniably painful, it has the potential to shape you in profound ways that might surprise you. Think about it. What if this painful chapter in your life could lead to the discovery of new strengths, passions, or even relationships you never imagined before? What if your grief, though dark and overwhelming, could teach you something about resilience, self-love, and the true meaning of independence? This plot twist doesn't promise to make the pain go away, but it can offer you a new way to view your life going forward. One that is filled with possibility rather than defeat. The twist is this: by embracing the transformation that comes from loss, you can find new purpose, reclaim control over your life, and ultimately emerge from grief not as a shadow of your former self, but as someone who has discovered a deeper, more powerful version of you. This is the light that can emerge from the darkness, and it's time to see how this transformation can unfold. Let's dive deeper into how this surprising journey can start. Now that we've revealed the shocking consequences and the unexpected plot twist, it's time to uncover the final payoff of this entire journey. The truth about how loss can ultimately lead to personal growth. When you lose a partner, the path to healing is anything but straightforward. Grief doesn't have a set timeline, and there is no one-size-fits-all formula for moving forward. However, what's clear is that loss, in its most painful form, has a unique way of reshaping us. It forces us to confront not only our inner vulnerability, but also our inner strength. 1. Rediscovering your identity and strengths. The first thing many people find after the death of a partner is that they have to rediscover who they are without that person by their side. This is often one of the hardest aspects of loss. But here's the silver lining. This moment of rediscovery is not a setback. It's an opportunity to realign with your truest self. You may begin to realize that many of your fears and insecurities were not your own. They were shaped by your relationship and your partner's presence. Without them, you're forced to navigate the world on your own terms. At first, it feels disorienting, but over time, you may begin to uncover hidden strengths. You start to realize you can handle more than you ever thought possible. For instance, take the story of Laura, who lost her partner after many years of marriage. In the months following his death, she struggled with the silence and the emptiness in her home. However, as time passed, she found herself reconnecting with her passion for painting, something she had put aside for years while focusing on her family. Laura rediscovered her artistic abilities, and as she immersed herself in her art, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Her creativity became her therapy, helping her navigate her grief and even inspiring her to open her own gallery. 2. Cultivating resilience and independence. Another life-changing payoff of loss is the cultivation of resilience. When you're faced with the death of your partner, you often have no choice but to dig deep within yourself to find the strength to move forward. You realize that while your partner is no longer there to support you, you have the power to take care of yourself. It's a challenging realization, but one that makes you stronger with every step you take. Take the example of Carlos, whose wife passed away unexpectedly. At first, Carlos was completely lost, unable to manage even the simplest tasks like grocery shopping or taking care of the house. However, as weeks turned into months, he began to learn how to navigate life on his own. He realized that he had always relied on his wife to handle many aspects of their household, but now he was learning to do it all by himself. This newfound independence not only helped him feel empowered, but also gave him a sense of pride. He was becoming a stronger, more self-reliant version of himself. 3. Opening up to new relationships and possibilities. Once you've navigated through the initial shock of loss and allowed yourself the space to heal, there comes a time when you might feel ready to open up to new relationships. This doesn't mean that you'll forget your partner or replace them. Rather, it's about finding a new type of connection that complements your current life. For many, the idea of dating again after the death of a partner feels impossible. The guilt, the fear of betraying their late spouse's memory, it can all feel overwhelming. But as time passes and you heal, you may begin to realize that moving forward doesn't mean leaving your partner behind. In fact, it means taking the love you shared with them and carrying it with you into new experiences. Amanda's story is a beautiful example of this transformation. After her husband's sudden death, Amanda spent years feeling unready to even consider dating. But over time, she realized that her husband would have wanted her to be happy. When she finally allowed herself to connect with someone new, it wasn't about replacing her husband. It was about embracing the love and happiness she deserved. Today, Amanda has found a healthy, supportive relationship that brings her joy, while still cherishing the memory of her late spouse. 4. Finding new purpose and giving back. For many, the death of a partner leads to a deep sense of purpose, a desire to live a life that honors their memory. This could mean starting a charitable foundation in your partner's name, volunteering, or pursuing causes that were important to them. The loss of a partner can open up a new chapter where you seek to make a difference in the world, to create something positive from the pain. Sarah, for example, was deeply affected by her partner's battle with cancer. After his passing, she used her grief as fuel to raise awareness for cancer research, something her husband had always been passionate about. She founded a non-profit organization that provides support for families going through similar struggles, turning her pain into a driving force for good. The final payoff of loss is not just about moving on. It's about moving forward, rebuilding, rediscovering, and embracing the new possibilities life has to offer. While your partner's death will always be a part of your story, it doesn't have to define your future. The power of transformation lies in your ability to turn grief into growth, finding strength in your vulnerability, and stepping into a new life that holds its own beauty, purpose, and meaning. 5. The gift of resilience. Embracing life after loss. In the end, what many people don't realize is that the loss of a partner often brings with it a surprising gift, the gift of resilience. You may never feel over the loss, but with time, you will become more adept at navigating through life's challenges. You will learn that you are capable of so much more than you ever thought possible. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you experienced the loss of a partner or loved one? How did it change your life, and what steps did you take to move forward? Share your story with us in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you've found strength after your grief. If you found this video helpful and want more content like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turning loss into growth is something we all have the power to do, and together we can support each other in navigating life's toughest challenges. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And remember, grief may never fully go away, but with time and the right tools, you can emerge stronger and more resilient. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll dive deeper into ways to heal and find hope no matter what you're going through.